Hello, Hayden. Well, thank you for joining us today and sharing your experience with other customers. And I'm sure it'll be really helpful. Do you mind telling us about your project?
Yeah, sure. About 12 months ago, my wife and I decided that we wanted to convert our conservatory, which is the space behind me, summer room. The conservatory was just a little bit too hot in the summer and just too cold in the winter. So we made the decision to turn it into a summer room. But what we really wanted to keep was the light and is as much of the view out to the garden as possible. To put the 4 windows in, as you can see behind, and the large bifold doors. And I think what you'd see is kind of the centerpiece is the lantern in the roof. We really wanted to have the kind of conservatory feel to it, but have the benefit of warm in the winter and the added benefit of the doors open in the summer. So the project kicked off around and was completed in late November, which left us to deciding how do we dress the room? What type of blinds do we put on there? Which has kind of led us to get in touch with WindowTreat.
Well, I'm delighted you did. Can you tell us, the experience you had with Chris, and you chose the Venus electric roof lantern blind. Can you tell us, what options you looked at and how you eventually settled on the Venus?
Yeah, sure. I initially had no experience with electric or solar powered or battery blinds. And in all honesty, had not really a clue where to start. I put a simple search into Google and you were one of the top results. I wasn't sure if you would cover my location, so I got in contact with you and found out pretty quickly that you could, and then set up a call between yourself and I just to discuss what options we had. For a high quality product, because the lantern is such a feature of the room. I wanted a blind to fit it perfectly. No kind of no sagging, no cables. I just wanted it to look as neat as possible. Sorry, can you help me with this project? Is the type of blind I'm looking for something that you cater for? And the answer, thankfully, was yes. So the next stage from there was to set up a meeting to go through the products that you had. And for me, it was quite educational. Like I said, I had no idea what was out there in the market and really what I could put in my room, knowing it looked like, but I didn't really know what the options were. Whether I could use solar, whether it had to be battery, whether at all I could use your blinds anyway. I thought it might have to be a manual blind, some kind of Venetian or roller blind. But after, I guess, a few kind of conversations about what I was looking for, you presented me with those options where I could put an electric blind into the roof, due to the size that I had. And then a surprise to myself was that I could also put an electric blind on the bifold doors. A battery blind on the bifold doors. And of course, the 4 windows as well. So we, the offer, the choices that you had, and kind of went from there.
Excellent. And you've lived with it for a few weeks now, Hayden, and you were concerned about the cold before. There's still quite a lot of glass. Have you noticed a difference when you shut the blinds, the roof lantern blind? Do you notice that?
Yes. Yes, we do. It's actually a huge difference. It's incredible. It's almost instant as well. Whether that's heat built up in the room, or whether you open it and it cools the room down. In a particular height away from the glass, that was something that I didn't know. So that's kind of helped too with managing the heat of the room. But yes, it makes an incredible difference. Particularly now that it's in winter. It was an unusable room. Even though we've got central heating in it, it was just too cold. But now with the roof blinds, yeah, incredible difference. As any room in the house, it's fantastic.
Listen, that'd be really helpful for other customers to understand as well. So thank you for that. You approached Chris. Chris showed you the battery operated blinds and the options you have for your bifolds, because my understanding is actually you weren't planning to put blinds on the rest of the windows. Can you tell me about your experience with that?
Yeah, I wasn't sure what the rest of the blinds would look like. I knew the lantern isn't a functioning window. It's just there to let light in. It's a nice feature of the room. So I thought with the blind closed, I wanted to choose the options that you guys gave me. It was as if with the blind closed, it looked just like the ceiling. It's just a white coloured ceiling. So I wasn't sure what the doors and windows would look like, and due to the size of them, what kind of options I had. And I didn't really know how they would fit. The windows that I've got and how they've been installed, it's all very neat. It's straight lines. It looks exactly how I wanted it to do, neat and tidy. No kind of wires hanging down, no cables to pull up blinds, etc. So I wasn't sure if I could get a blind that would match the neatness of the extension. And the options that you had, it's a very neat, small white box that almost blends perfectly with the colour of the window and the paint choice that I've got. People that have said to me, you can't even see that the blinds are there when they're closed. So one of the major reasons for me picking this blind was you don't even know it's there when it's open, and it's such a neat design and installed so well that it's as if it's not there on the door. The door opens as it should. There's nothing hanging down. There's no kind of cables or the chains to pull the blinds up, blowing in the wind. It's just a white, neat box that's perfectly fit to the wall. So I think that was my major kind of selling point to the product. It's such a big blind, but you don't know it's there. So it's an ideal kind of compromise, really.
Yeah. And Hayden, I think our customers would love to see the blinds in action. Would that be okay?
Absolutely. Yeah. Let me get out of the way and I'll push the button for you. There we go.
Oh, it looks fab.
And it's such an easy remote to use as well. You've got so many different. You can open the blind on its own. You can open the windows on their own, and I can open each door blind individually. Initially a bit daunting, but it's actually very easy to use. It's very well set up, and you can individually open whichever blind that you want, and you can stop it halfway through. You can reclose it as well, and it's actually got a setting on here that if it falls into the wrong, for example, they can't play with it and burn the motor out. It's actually got a setting to prevent that from happening, which in my house is essential.
Well, well, thanks, Hayden. The $1 million question for you is would you recommend WindowTreat to friends, family, colleagues?
The information that I got was brilliant, and the product itself, I think, is actually better than I expected it to be, and that's quite rare these days. It's usually you can find fault in something somewhere, but I can't. I'm incredibly happy with it, and I would highly recommend it. The fitting by the two guys that came to supply the blinds was also fantastic. They actually went above and beyond. The wall I have here isn't quite straight for the bifold doors, so they actually had to go and get some extra parts to make sure that it looked like it should. They didn't want to leave it, not straight and not perfect. So the fitting is fantastic. So I'd highly recommend.
Well, thanks, Hayden. It's been a real pleasure meeting you and helping you with this wonderful space you've created.
Brilliant. My pleasure. Thank you very much.